Here we go. We're live. So people should start coming in. It's great to be here this morning in the United States, in Seattle, and also from Europe with Nathe, the clairvoyant, from the Third Wish. And
Yeah,
welcome, Nathe. Yes, yes. I
thank you
love
so much for having me. I think this is overdue.
it. It is overdue. It absolutely is. And I was on with you and Helen, I think it was before Christmas time. And so, yes, I'm really excited to have you here. And thank you so much for being here. So here's some folks coming in from your channel. Well, welcome to you. And thanks for being here. I'm going to be talking with Nathe today a little bit about his psychic roots. And after that, we're going to take some questions from the community. And I have a couple of topics I want to bring up as well about what's going on. But if you want to put them in, we can't do all of them, of course, but we'll do some of them. And in the meantime, have fun. There you
Yes.
go. So, gosh, it is overdue. I remember hearing about you from Sherry and Helen, and the fall semester for me at the colleges that I work at is like batshit crazy. It's awful. So I am happy that we could catch up here at the beginning of the year, and I'm not as stressed out as I was that particular time. But it's wonderful. I've watched your predictions for 2026. I did. And I thought, wow, amazing, just amazing. I don't remember all of them, which is actually kind of good because I don't want anybody's predictions to influence anything that I do. Yeah, but I still like knowing about them. So yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming in. Are you snowed in? A lot of people are snowed in over here with really, really bad weather here in the United States. Yes. And I bet you could have predicted that. I think you predicted a flood, though, didn't you? Somewhere.
Well, I believe, 2026, I feel like this is a year of water where it's either excess or not enough.
Right.
And that's, honestly, half psychic, half logical, because, we know that water is becoming such, a critical resource. And something that I really like to talk about is because of AI.
Yes, absolutely, Nathe. Yeah, because they're using so much water to produce AI, correct?
It is incredible amounts of water. And so I'm talk about this a lot because I'm passionate about this. And also because this is just not told enough, in my view, that this
I agree.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. What is it? There's, and I think, I don't know, you can weigh in on this, but I think that's what they really wanted to do in Greenland. They wanted to have an AI community. There's a thing called a praxis nation where it's run by AI and no governance and all that other stuff. And, you could take the snow, the ice, and create, the water for AI. And I do know that there's lots of billionaires that have put their money in to do something on Greenland. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about resources, whether it's oil, whether it's minerals. Like Trump likes to call it rare earth, and he makes such a face when he says that. But I know. But water, and even issues with solar flares, and so we are in this age of realization, to a certain degree, that the earth. Everything is becoming harder and harder to get, and so that's part of our elevation.
Yeah, it is part of our elevation.
Yes.
And the people that are aware of these things are the ones that are going to carry it into a new world, and those that aren't are just going to kind of fall behind. Which I have to say, this morning, last night, Kash Patel indicated that no one should carry a gun here's another whole topic, but no one should carry a gun to a protest. And of course, all of us saw guns at a protest. They killed people back with, I don't know if you're aware of the George Floyd.
Of course.
Mess. Yes. And Kyle Rittenhouse, and he's back now. But he got, let off for killing people there. So apparently the National Rifle Association is BS about this morning, saying, wait a minute. So my feeling is, I'm wondering if this might take these MAGAs down at this point, where they're going to say, wait, you're going to, what do you sense? Do you sense anything about that at all?
Well, I would not specifically talk about that in particular, but talk about the situation we're in with the fact that MAGA and the Republican Party is more and more confronted to their own paradox and contradictions.
Yes. Thank you.
It's like, okay, well, it's America first, but it's Greenland, and it's Venezuela, but it's America first.
Right.
It's no gun, but it's guns. It's this, but it's this. And at some point, it just turns into a big soup. Frankly, that's turning into no flavor. And that's going to be the end of MAGA and people, because they're such a hardcore group that have hardcore beliefs, and some of them are different. And so it's also, for example, on the contradictions, Christian values, but Epstein. Christian values, but, every life is sacred. But, I mean, it's just getting more and more contradicted.
You're absolutely right. The dichotomies between the two sides, and there's no middle ground in their group. You're absolutely right. And anything that might have happened in, let's say, a Biden or an Obama administration that was horrible, is all of a sudden, it's okay. So again, that whole idea,
double standards on everything, and it's just shut down when Democrats are now talking about holding the budget. Then when the Republicans were holding the budgets, that was okay, but now it's not okay. It's just constant double standards and contradictions.
It is. Actually, there's a piece of literature I remember reading. Was it? It was the one, the Fahrenheit 451. They call it doublespeak, I think. And this reminds me of doublespeak. They're talking out of two sides of their mouths. Yeah. I know. That's amazing. And yes, of course, you don't have to be psychic to know the GOP is shattering. We understand that. It's just not fast enough for us Holmes. So we'd like it a little faster. There's I do want to talk a little bit about your psychic roots. So let's just do that so we can. So did you know you were psychic from the very beginning of your life, like when you were a child or a teenager?
I feel like for me, that awareness of that started around like age 8 or 9 years old.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was not a question of being psychic. It was a question of being very fascinated and passionate about divination.
Oh, okay.
And so I would, and I still have books from that time, where I would use the playing cards and make predictions.
Okay. Oh, the playing cards. Okay.
The playing cards, yes.
All right.
And I would tell family and friends what I was saying in the cards. So that was really what got me into. So in a very kind of deep divination kind of, I didn't really think of spirits or messages from guides, or for me, it was almost like a study, a science that I would study.
Okay. Yeah.
And then after that, it was very interesting. When I was 17, 18 years old, I wanted to learn tarot. That was a natural progression from the brain.
Yeah.
And so I found I went to a bookstore, to buy a tarot cards, and I asked the bookstore, well, I want to learn, do you know anyone who could teach me? And so they recommended this lady, and I remember very well. She was a hairdresser, and I would go to the salon, and we would go upstairs in the attic and learn tarot. The
That's
way that
cool.
I learned was absolutely fantastic, and I'm so grateful that I learned this way.
Uh-huh.
Because I remember she said, "Don't look at any of the cards. You're just gonna hold them, and I want
Mhm.
you to tell me what you feel and see." And so
Okay.
we would go through all the cards, and it was, I didn't know then, but it was really almost like a psychotherapy, because
Yeah.
I still have her writing everything I said about each card. And I know there's so much about my psychology, my personality, my past lives,
Yeah.
personal issues that transpired then, but I was not mature enough to understand all that. And
Right.
so I learned. And then after that, fast forward, I was starting to be of age to visit psychics and
Mhm.
readers and have readings. And I was saying, well, I want to do the same thing. And then I started to do readings for friends and family. And
Mhm.
then I got more into, it's only later that I got more into the true spiritual side of,
Sure. It was a
but
progression of your
it's
maturity.
a
Yeah.
progression, but it
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
really with divination. And as of today, I love divination. That to me, so I think in the psychic world, you can go so many different ways. You can go in the mediumship, you can go in true sense of Zen spirituality, you can go into healing, you can go, but my right hand, my fascination, my is really divination. And I love all aspects of divination, whether they are cards or runes or tea leaves
Mhm.
or coffee, or that's my thing.
That's your thing. Okay.
I love that. I went to Greece multiple times into ancient Greece, where you had like the PT who would giving telling people oracles
Oh.
and giving
Mhm.
and uh, emperors and Greek gods and all of that. It just fascinates me
Oh,
this
me
side.
too.
And so that's the root is really on the divination side, and I love that. And I when I do personal readings, my interest is actually a lot of the mundane questions. Like I like the working on specifics.
Okay.
It fascinates me. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, so by reading the cards without looking at them and making meaning out of them, and then did that help you a great deal when you did your own? You've got two sets of tarot cards that you have um, put together. One of them is on the saints, and the other
Yes.
is it the whales?
Yes.
Is
So
that
I
okay? The
created the
mystic.
tarot of
Okay.
the saints, and then an oracle, which is the yes, this whale deck.
Oh, and that one's an oracle. Okay, so that one
It's
is
an
not tarot.
oracle deck.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
has really, this experience really taught me something very important when I
Yeah.
teach tarot or any kind of card system is um, you're developing a relationship with the card. The card is just a piece of paper,
That's
frankly.
right.
And
That's right.
so it's your relationship with the card that matters. And
Mhm.
so something that, for example, would irritate me is when someone says, this card doesn't mean this, it means this. At
Oh,
the end of
that bothers
the
me
day,
too. Yeah,
it
yeah.
it means whatever it means to you. So
Correct.
there's no right or wrong. But all I'm asking you is to develop a relationship with the card that it means something to you, that you
Yes.
use for your reading. And that's why, reading books can be interesting as a reference, but ultimately it's your own development of your own system
Mhm. Mhm.
that's
That's
gonna
right.
matter. And so always use the example of the sun card. Well, yes, that's a positive card. Well, yes, but the sun can burn.
Yes. Yes.
So
And yeah.
it's all a matter of perspective.
It's absolutely true. It's and I love that. I think that many of us who grew up watching tarot readers prior to being like on YouTube thought, oh my God, I could never remember all those meanings. And then you're supposed to make meanings with them side by side. And oh, I can't, I remember feeling very inadequate about being able to do that. And it's so wonderful now that people are more like what you and I believe in that the cards they're meaningful to us in our own personal way. So I love that. That's
I
wonderful.
have I always remember this from a mentor. We were in a group class, and she would always say, ask, okay, what do you see? And the
Uh-huh.
person would say, oh, I'm a little confused and this and that. And she would say, read the damn cards.
In
Just
other
read
words,
the cards.
yeah, good. Yeah, get out of your head and get into your yeah. Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Yeah. Oh gosh, that's really great, Nick. So obviously you've progressed from this divination idea at 8 and 9 years old. That's just amazing to me. Do you ever still read just the regular playing cards at
Yeah,
all?
I do.
You
I
do.
do.
Okay.
I should have also told you, because I didn't mention that, but I think it's important that throughout my life, I had big validations of intuitions or specific
Uh-huh.
things that happened that are outside, the norm and outside the natural way of things,
Mm-hmm.
that were significant enough that confirmed to me that, okay, there's something on the other side, there's something more than this life, because something
Mm-hmm.
like this is just so extraordinary, and different events, and big intuition hits that validated. And it's also true, I would also add, as part of my own path, is I think it's healthy to always doubt, to always have a
Yeah.
form of doubt. But I have to say that in my biggest moments of doubt, where I would be over, I'm 53, over my 53 years old, when I had the biggest moments of doubts for period of times of weeks at a time or month at a time, something big always would happen, like a slap that would say, and you're still doubting now? Something would just happen
Yeah.
completely crazy out of the ordinary. It's like, are you still doubting now? And it would be like the universe telling
Mm-hmm.
me, okay, I need
Yeah.
to, it was good that you went through this phase of doubt, but now,
Cut it
you know,
out.
remember what you're here for. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And as people who do card readings or do any type of work like this, we have to stay humble, but we also have to and what I'll do is something will happen where I'm kind of doubtful myself, and I'll do a reading and someone will say yes, oh well, blah blah blah, and it's not that I think it came through me, because I know it came through here and it was
Yes.
just channeled through me, but it's also like, oh good, I do know what I'm doing. And I think that that comes along with that anxiety of feeling like an imposter, the imposter
Imposter
syndrome.
syndrome. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
navigate imposter syndrome, questions about your own ego.
uh-huh.
Are you that good, or is it just a message that you're just a messenger?
Right,
So
right.
you did a good job passing on the message, but did
Passing the
you
message.
create the
Yeah.
message yourself?
Hmm.
And then also, I feel like working in this field, there's such an element of psychology on how to share the message, like the way
Thank you.
they deliver the message is, in my view, as important as the message itself. And that, I when I tried, you mentioned that, I think it was at the beginning of the show, that you watch my predictions.
Hmm.
I put a lot of efforts in the way that I
Yes, you
share
do.
and say things, because
Without
I
fear. not fear-based.
Yeah. Yes, because it's almost like, you put the hot potato out there without thinking the impact it's going to have on people. So you have to bring the delivery with the message all the way. Yes.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I've had people actually tell me that they've had a reading from a psychic, whether here or somewhere else, and they told him brutally, like, oh, you need to divorce your husband. He's cheating on you with the next. And it's like, oh my God, let's use some humanity and some heart-centered.
Yes.
Well,
And it's such a responsibility as a
it
reader,
is.
because if you see something like this, you know that you're going to have to work with the person, because you have your duty to tell the truth. And so how you going to bring them with you to this realization? It's going to be a hard job to work with them gently to
Absolutely.
the message.
To the message. That's absolutely. Oh, I love that. That shows absolute understanding of the gift that you have been given, and that it is your responsibility to impart to others as a recipient of that gift. Yeah, because you're offering the gift to them as well. I know some people have said they've seen some terrible things, and they have not said it to that. But they might say, be careful around this time, or this, when you're going somewhere or whatever. But you don't come out and say, well, somebody's going to die and tomorrow. Or
Yes.
No, do not do that, please. Yeah. So.
And also, I feel like, that I think the humility is that there's never 100. First of all, the reader makes mistakes. We all make mistakes in our interpretation. And there's a fair amount of free will as well. And so we have to understand all that and make the recipient of the reading understand of all that. But I think it's also, if the answer is negative, I would immediately think of, well, let's try to work with you with the cards or your abilities on what can we do. If it says you're not going to get the job, maybe we can look at what can you do to get the job. Is there anything that you can do, that we can help you do to change the outcome? Because we can possibly do something. And so there's also that aspect of guiding the person to a different outcome. And so that's why it's a lot of work sometimes to work on a particular reading, depending on the question. Yeah.
And the energy that comes from it. I always also believe that when we read, we're reading the energies of this particular moment, this particular time, and that things can change, as we know. And so sometimes just a reminder that this is what I'm getting today, but perhaps tomorrow, or even in 10 minutes from now, there could be a change that could shift this into something else. And I think a lot of people feel like that's an excuse, like if this doesn't work out, and it's not meant to be that. It's not that it's an excuse, right? Yeah.
Also, what I always say is that it's like feedback, which is a whole different topic, is giving feedback to someone, which is very difficult sometimes, but also important. How can the person improve if they don't get the feedback? And so it's the same thing with a message from a reading. It's a gift. Right? You're giving a gift. Well, as the recipient of a gift, like any gift, you can take it or you can leave it aside. If you don't like what I say,
correct,
don't believe it.
Yeah.
I really mean it.
No, I know. I agree with you.
I mean,
I agree. Or it doesn't make any sense to me what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you don't have to then it doesn't make sense. Maybe something else is really happening, and I'm reading on someone else, or there's another issue coming up. Yeah, I agree. We always have the chance to open our gift or not open our gift, or to pass it along to somebody else.
Yeah, regifted. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. I love that. Liz says, you believe that as a psychic, if you get something for the person you're reading, that you should tell them, I see deaths and illness a lot when I read people. How do you handle something like that? Yeah, that's an interesting.
I would be so I generally speaking, I agree with what you're saying, artist list, but I would add something though, that you might see a death, but how do you know that this is a physical death or a symbolic death? So you
True.
also hold that responsibility, that how sure are you that it is a physical death, and we're not talking of a rebirth of a person's situation. And so
Mhm,
you also
mhm.
don't want to go the other way, where you passing on a message that maybe could be psychological, symbolic, and not
Yes,
physical, like the death card.
correct. It could also mean a divorce, I would think, because that's a separation. It could mean, yeah, I love that, Nathe. And yeah, so I'll do that sometimes. I know, well, I'll say, well, this looks like it could be this, but then again, and I think that for me, it's because I teach college English and I know so many different things. And I was wrong. It was 1984, guys, where that double speak came in. So there you go. I want to make, and thank you for reminding me. I've read so many books in my life, but you know, those symbols are all personal to us as well. And so, when I do dream readings, when we do the dream show, I'm only reading what I think it is, but the person that really knows is you yourself, because you
Yeah,
have a different symbology and you have a different way of reading it.
that's an
That's
interesting point. Is so, and I'll have to admit, I've been interested about your show, but I have not watched it, and
oh
I
yeah.
will sometime. Eh,
Mhm.
when How do you go about the dynamic that someone shared their dreams, and you interpret with your own
Right.
understanding of the symbolism, but knowing that the person might have a different symbolism? How do you bridge that?
Um, First of all, one of the things that I tell everybody if I can is, you know, people look up, they have dream dictionaries or they go into AI, unfortunately, and they ask, you know, about their dreams. But it's very incumbent upon a dream interpreter to say that in the very beginning, that the person that really understands this dream is really you, not me. But I can give you a few, and so that's why we have four of us as well
Ah,
that are doing it. It's like we've got, and we have, sometimes we're really different and sometimes we're really the same. It seems like when they have more prophetic dreams, that it's much easier to see. But again, like you say, Nathan, it could be that prophetically it would fit into the culture or what's happening, but it may be what's also going on in your personal life. It's not got nothing to do with the culture. So I think just opening yourself up to the idea of dream interpretation has changed so many people that come to the show who say, I never dream. I don't remember my dreams. I don't know what they mean. And now they're doing the work in the chat, giving their interpretations. So
wow.
there's a growth
Yeah,
from even, and so you can grow from learning about somebody else's dream. And if you had it, you could say, well, I relate to that. If
mm,
I had that dream, I'd think this. So there is a little bit of that in there. And I really like that part. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And Debbie also does a lot of dream. She says symbols mean different things to everyone. Sometimes one suggestion will trigger, an, and that's right. So
Mhm.
one of the people say something about the dream, and it's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Maybe that's what it meant. So that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of
I
fun to do.
relate to that because I do tea leaves
Uh-huh.
readings, and I
Yeah.
see the symbols in the tea leaves, and it's the
Yeah.
same thing. They can mean
Sure.
different aspects.
They
Yes.
can. They
Yeah.
can. You know, I always say, you know, I love dogs, and I love they're like my friends, and I love them. And if I have a dog in a dream, I never have one attacking me, and I love them. But some people are afraid of dogs,
Yeah.
and they have a dream about a dog. It's a totally different dream for them. So it's really nice to do it face to, or not face to face, but at least one on one, because you can say things like, how did you feel
Yeah.
during this? Or how do you feel about dogs? Or how do you feel about this or that? And there's more of an interaction with it, which makes more sense. Probably the same with the tea leaves, I would think, that,
Yes,
yeah.
except that when I do the tea leaves readings, I don't have that feedback mechanism. So I go deep into, and it depends. Most of the time, with tea leaves, people don't ask questions. So it's really
Okay.
open to,
Yeah. To
what
interpret.
do
Yeah.
you see? And
Yes.
sometimes people ask questions. So that changes the way that you read the tea leaves when they ask questions.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So there isn't always perfection in any form of divination. However, dependent upon how you see things and work with things, and as Nathe says, he started by holding them. So
Yeah.
there's a form of psychometry that comes in, and you can use your intuition, you can use your clairvoyance, and so on. And maybe it's just this card is going to tell the message that if you looked at it, it wouldn't tell because you're doing it in a different way. I love it.
I
Yeah.
have a question for you, actually, using a little bit your psychic ability here.
Okay.
Is so when I did this exercise and that was on the major arcana, so 21
Okay.
cards, and I
Yep.
have still with me, it's very precious to me, the script of what I saw for
Okay.
each of the cards. And
Hmm.
so I've always thought that I wanted to do something with it, but it's very personal because it was my interpretation and my own
Hmm.
feeling. But I
Hmm.
feel like there's more to it that I want to share with the world. So just coming out of complete, like out of the blue,
Hmm.
what would be, what would you say would be the best use of those scripts? And I don't mean to put you on the spot. I
No,
would
no,
just,
I know you know. I'm getting the idea that a book or
yeah.
something that would indicate what your script is, but first of all, in the beginning, this is what do you see about this? What does this card, make the script yourself on this card and don't cheat. And then go and look at or you could even start with the Fool, let's say, and you could give your interpretation, and that way they understand what you're looking for.
Um,
And then when you get to the second one, tell them not to look, tell them to use their own intuition, their own guidance, and to move into that and say, this is what I saw, but this is personal to me. What is personal to you? I could see that.
oh, that's kind
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
maybe a workbook.
A workbook.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you should do a workbook. Now I'm noticing in the chat somebody saying something about you have a magazine.
Yes, I
Oh,
do. I do.
okay.
And actually, I don't have with me the first episode
Mhm.
that was
That's fine. Yeah.
presented in November, but I have the second one that no one has seen yet, which is this magazine. Uh,
Oh,
yes, and that will be
oh,
released this week or next. And it has
wonderful.
in this magazine, actually, there's a little bit of divination. There's
Mhm.
talking about connection with pets.
Oh, was it wonderful? Yeah.
Uh, there's a quiz about discovering your past life. It's basically a spiritual and metaphysics magazine.
Crazy. And you can get it on your channel. Is that where you have
Yes,
have to
this
order
one
it? Okay.
hasn't been released yet, but the
No, I
first
know. No, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
episode is,
You
yes.
can,
And there's a
sign up.
paper version and there's
Mhm.
a digital version.
Oh, there's a digital version. That's wonderful. Well, that could be the conduit for this type of thing
Yes.
that you're talking about. You could start out there and then, work through there. You wouldn't have to do every one of them in there, but you could start out and then you could say, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you would say about it. And yeah, then you could make it into a workbook from
Yeah.
there, because that's how a lot of great pieces of books as novellas and other things started as magazine articles.
As a matter of fact, in this new edition, I have a number of people who have their YouTube channel do an article for the magazine. Helen has done one.
Yes.
And so if you ever were interested to write an article, I would be happy to put it in the next.
That's wonderful. And I could do one on the dreams if you want me to.
I would love that. I would love
that. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know I would end up with a little job here. That's fab. I love it. So, wow. And yes, everybody, if you have not signed up for Nathe's channel, please. The information is in the chat. And I know he also has memberships, just like I do, and that he also works a lot with Helen, and she does things with him in that membership. I think you do that every month, don't you?
Every week.
Every week. Okay.
We have a show. Well, that's the show that you were
on. Yeah.
Remember? And we go. It's a short show, usually a half hour, and it's called Heroes and Villains, and we talk about.
Yes. That's the one we did.
We chose as heroes and villains of the week, and we read cards on them. 3 and 3, yes.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And this week, you're going to have some interesting heroes and villains to work with.
But in those days, it's always harder to find heroes, and unfortunately, the villains are not hard to find.
That's very true. But hopefully that's gonna get to a paradigm, and it's going to tip over the top, and we're going to have more heroes. I hope. That's the hope. Wow. So everybody, thank you for your comments here in the chat, and thank you for being with both of us this morning. What you have indicated about your psychic roots was so fascinating to me, Nathe, and I love all that you said and agree with you when it comes to the divination and the readings. I want to talk a little bit about an article that I found this morning. I get the Atlantic magazine digital, and I like it because for the most part, they're very they're not as biased as, and the gentleman that wrote the article I saw this morning indicated that what he's seeing in Minnesota is much like the Arab Spring of the early 2010s.
Oh, wow.
And after I started thinking about it, I'm like, he said, it wasn't for a while. It didn't meet all the criteria. And then boom, and those things included civil resistance, not unrest. And we're seeing that. The hope for democracy, for economic opportunity and social justice, and so on and so on. And I am so... I don't know how to explain this, but it warms my heart, even during the George Floyd, what people were doing. But now what the people of Minnesota are doing, especially in the frigid temperatures that they're doing it, and they're not afraid to get out. Well, it's scary. It's some scary stuff for people. But I wonder, would you say this could be a possible? I think there's something about this Minnesota thing that's tipping.
Yeah. Well, just even with the murder of Renee Good, it was already a turning point.
True.
So we are at the second turning point, and so like they say, 3 is a trend, and hopefully we don't have a third one. But if this administration continues, unfortunately, it can get there just because of the cruelty and the activities that they're doing. And so I feel like it's going to be seen as an escalation. It is no longer seen as outliers and individual situation. It's a pattern that, you got to think that it's almost been designed this way, that, is there an intent? It's so bad to think this way, but at the top level, is there an intention to create level of cruelty?
Oh, and I think Stephen Miller is the person that is creating a lot of. Somebody did say this morning in the chat, and I didn't know this, that there's been another woman shot, but she's not dead, fortunately, but apparently she's going to lose one of her hands. I saw that. I didn't see it on the news. I don't know anything about it. But yes, Rossi, the governor, governmental candidate for governor in Minnesota stepped down today because he sees the administration as not aligned with his values, in his party not aligned with his values. So we're seeing small things like that. And all those things build on each other over
We
time.
also saw after Greenland, I know this was coming from the Democratic side, but it's still senator talking about the 25th Amendment. And so
Yes.
just talking about it, and even, but you know, it starts with someone on the Democratic side talking about the 25th. What's next?
Right.
Someone on the Republican side talking about the 25th.
Yes.
And it just built.
It builds from there. And that's what happened when they were doing the releasing of the Epstein files, at least at that period of time, where every single, except one, I think, every single congressperson said they wanted them released. And, you know, I also saw today that a lot of leaders of the Republican Party are calling for an investigation on Preddy's murder that happened this weekend. Yeah. And that names like Cassidy, Senator Cassidy, and actually even Representative Comer, everybody, that blew my mind, because Comer is, he's very Republican. So, I mean, of course we should have these. There's no question we shouldn't have these. But it, you know, why? I still think all of us are just shaking our heads, wondering why these people are so afraid to do their jobs.
Well, because they went too far and now they have to backtrack. It's a little bit like, you know, pardon the analogy, but the toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back.
Yeah.
And so you can only, and I think this is in alignment with, and I'm going to have to paraphrase Mark Carney from Canada when he said that we're not going to go back to the times of the past. We have to go towards something of the future and a model of the future, because unfortunately, there's no going back to that time that was working for us. And now something else has happened that made forcing us towards a new normal. Right now, it's not normal. Whatever's happening is, of course, normal. But we have to figure out what this new normal is.
No, you're absolutely right. And yes, I am aware that they are threatened, and they're you know, they're doxing their houses, their families. They're doing all of that because it is a mob boss that's in charge, and that's what mob bosses do. Yeah, but it's not just
closed doors. They still, that's also the interesting aspect, is behind closed doors. They freak out about Trump. They criticize Trump. And so, which is also kind of going back to the beginning of a conversation, that dichotomy of, you know, they say one thing and do another. Hypocrisy is all over the place. Yeah,
it is. That's wonderful. I'm wondering what you think about William Sasha Riley. I did see a picture of him with Epstein as a little boy, and there were 2 or 3 other little boys. This was just recent, like yesterday. And I, you know, it could be AI, but it looks like one of those older pictures that we took in the 70s. You know, it looks more like that. Any thoughts about him, whether he...
Yeah, it's a great question. First of all, the first thing I get on that is I feel like there will be more information coming that will validate the accuracy of the information. I will also tell you honestly that I've been very apprehensive getting psychically into that energy, because it is so dark.
It is very dark. Even listening to it, to his, it could trigger a lot of people. It is very dark. And I totally understand. I hope that we get more clarity. And when I saw that picture, I was like, okay, We have to, what's really funny is that we hear so many conspiracy theories as more liberal people. And we're like, oh God. But you know what? Some of them are really true. They speak it out loud. They do.
Well, I would take two aspects of this particular topic. Is the first one that it involves, what is new about it? Number one, it involves boys, not just girls.
That's right.
Well,
That's
of
right.
course there were boys involved. Regardless, who would think that they would exclude boys? Number two, something that I took away from it that I think resonates, of course, for entertainment purposes only, but the aspect of Epstein working under Trump and for Trump.
Oh, I really, that's a lot. Yeah. I think that a lot, you're right. I don't think Epstein was the big cheese. I think it was Trump, and that's entertainment purposes only as well. I really do. I do. Yeah. It isn't beneath him because he's sadistic. He's got a sadistic.
There was also a third element that I saw that resonated with me, the animal cruelty.
I just had that in my mind. If he did, and actually, when Sasha was talking, he said that they would kill puppies and things like that. And who's in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, at least right now?
It aligns perfectly.
It does align. It does align. And no proof here, but certainly something to think about. And oh, wow. And so today he is sending Tom Homan, who I don't care for at all, but he's sending him in. I think he's going to be. I think she's not being able to handle it correctly, but
it's almost like who do you hate the most, Tom Homan or Greg Bovino? It's a tie.
Yes, it is a tie. You're right. Oh my God. Yes. And it's amazing how he was able to, I guess it isn't amazing really, because he was able to compile all the worst people in the world to be surrounded by him, to be working for him. So, and yes, Linda, he did say this weekend, I think it was earlier, late last week, he said, being that people say something about brutal dictators, well, sometimes that's what you need, a brutal dictator. That's what I am, a dictator.
Well, and here is another paradox. Then he goes on removing Maduro from Venezuela because he's a dictator.
And he gives back, and he's against drugs, but he lets the Honduran guy go. Yeah, so there it is again. And it's let's just keep it chaotic, and so people won't know what the hell we're going to do next, right?
It becomes a big soup, and no one can read any of this. And is right. What is true in any kind of communication and in politics is if the message gets messy, people move away from it because it looks very insincere. And I think that's where it's starting to be for MAGA. It's starting to become insincere. When he's talking about, I shouldn't, but I watched that big press conference that was a big mess about the 1 year. And he said that gas prices went $1.99 a gallon. Where?
Not since I moved here in 2007, that's probably what I paid. Yeah.
So that looks, I thought that's just because that resonates with people, and people said, well, that's a lie. Okay, maybe they don't see the rest is a lie, but $1.99, that's a lie.
That's a lie. That's right. But you just keep saying it and people believe it. Just keep saying it over and over again. And people believe
they know when they go to their gas station that it's not $1.99.
There was a guy that somebody put up, and they asked him a question just the other day, and he said, I'm 77 years old and I'll always back Trump because he's my man. I don't care what he does. And so there's going to be that faction of people. but the idea of astroturfing, which I talked with on Helen's show the other day, and how their propaganda and all the plan that this has been going on for 60 or more years to get to this point. And so it's just like crazy. Oh, thanks, folks, for putting up some questions. I'm going to just do a few of them. And one of them was the Canadian economy. Any thoughts on that, Nathe, at all?
Well, I'm going to pull a few cards because I'm not getting a direct hit.
Yep. No, so, me too.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So what I got was I got the camera. So there's a focus that Mark Carney is working on. And I think that comes from his banking background. And I don't know about you, but I think he's fabulous. And I don't know that much about him. But even like you said, in his message that he gave, it was so uplifting. And so it was wonderful because the Canadians are feeling handcuffed. They're feeling like they need their economy to be released from the bonds of that. And he's going to come up with some kind of a unique approach, just like snowflakes. And I don't mean he's a snowflake, but of course, what he's saying is what a snowflake is every single one is different. There's not one that is always like the other. So that's what I'm getting.
I got the 4 swords, and you cannot. This deck is a little dark, but I like it. It is a sense that I felt like there's a slowdown in the economy, but the 2 of Wands shows me that there's a plan and there's going to be a plan. The 8 of Pentacles talks about work and hard work and making money. So, and I have to say, every time I've read on Canada, I had a good sense of the economy moving forward, even 5-10 years out. And I feel that I think there's a realization of a slowdown, but I do see Canada, having the jobs and having, an economy that's running well. I'm not seeing a recession. I feel that Canadians are smart, and if they have to partner, which we've seen, the Chinese, they will.
Yeah. Yep. And the relations are seemingly pretty level, if you know what I mean. I was pleased actually to hear that if we had invaded Greenland, that Carney said that would be an invasion also of Canada, and that he would be at war with us. And I mean, I don't want a war, but what I'm thinking is that he's dedicated to his country, and that always made me feel really good about him. Yeah, very nice. I love this. You just put it up, Melanie, but I love this. Is there any relation between the ice storm and the ice army?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
The timing is kind of fascinating to see. Yeah. That,
no, I agree.
Well, I mean, and what is ice? It's obviously cold and freezing, and so it has a bit of an aggression energy to it. But the other truth, if we keep the analogy going, is ice always melts.
That's true. And you can chip away at it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's beautiful. The other thing about ice, when it's off of your roof and it drips down into this icicle, those can potentially kill you if they ever, if they were up high enough, they could come down and take you out. And so perhaps they'll drop off and take themselves out. That would be nice as well. I love just talking word speak like that, because as you think, so it is. And so, yes, it's wonderful.
I mean, especially with your job as a teacher, you know that the power of language and the words, and words are magic. And so whatever we say, a little kind of aspect is the third wish, the name of my channel. Your wish is my command. And if you say, that's kind of basic, but if you say, I'll never get this. I'll always then
Right.
you are
You
putting it
won't.
out there in the
That's
universe.
right.
It's like,
That's right.
and I always say something I say very often: don't manifest your fears.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yep.
Yes.
And you know that the people who developed all this other stuff, they're fearful. That's why they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
That's why they're trigger happy, all of that stuff. And I
Yes.
think the thing that disturbed me the most was the fact that the guy that ended up shooting Preddy on the ground was heard saying, clapping and saying, "This is better than Warcraft." That's the mentality of the
Oh
people.
my God.
It's sickening. And it reminds me too much of Germany, early
Yeah.
40s. Yeah,
And
it
also
really does.
the fact that, I was watching this documentary yesterday on war and how drones have become such a part of war. And
Uh-huh.
that's very scary because drones have to be maneuvered.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, by people who are very good with video games and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
virtual reality, the world of, exactly like you said, video
Mm-hmm.
games reality is blurry, the same
Yeah.
way that AI and reality is becoming blurry. And that really worries me for
Yes.
where we are, because and that was in my predictions, where social media will become such a point of
Yes.
reality meets fake news on an instant basis.
Mm-hmm.
That at
Mm-hmm.
some point will be a turn off to people. It's going to go too
It's
far.
going to go the other way. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's really good news. And I remember you saying that now. And um, because somebody said by the end of this year, you won't be able to tell the difference if they keep doing what they're doing. And I always felt that way. I remember even during the last election, I'm thinking, they're going to put up things that look real, and they're going to say things that people are going to believe that
Yes.
aren't, that were just manipulated. So yeah,
Oh, we're so close to putting words in people's mouths that,
absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right. So we've got another weather question. How's there's a shutdown of water from the Great Lakes in Canada. Yeah, I didn't realize that, Kit. Okay.
that was back to that discussion of this year is a year of water, where it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
too much or too little. And
Mm-hmm.
um, going to add to the weather issue, let's just pull one card.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. And Diana says Hurricane Harry stormed Matka and Sardinia and much of Italy, and they're in a state of emergency. So it's not just here; it's global, as Nathe said. Yeah. Oh wow. So the weather issues.
Well,
I'm
I would
Go
six
ahead.
of. Oh, sorry, Ali. You please.
No, go, please. Yeah.
To me, like, it feels like some sort of solution is being found. And I
Okay.
see Eight of Wands, some sort of acceleration. So I don't know what that solution might be, but I feel like they're gonna work and find a solution.
Well, that's good, because what I got first was a hamburger, which is crazy, but it means that people want something convenient.
Yes.
So there's that. And then I get tears. So I think that the convenience is going to bring sorrow, because it's not convenient for us. It's convenient for somebody else. Yeah. Wow. Oh dear. So yeah, I think there's flooding going on in Italy and Sardinia and some,
Yeah.
is that, yeah. Okay.
I've heard that as well.
You
Yes.
have? Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, you're getting good people saying, please get your magazine. It's wonderful. That's great. I can't wait. Let's look at this one from Sue. Australia is part of the Commonwealth under the UK. Are you able to tell us about energies for Australia, New Zealand, and UK for the next decade? Well, we may not be able to do the decade here, but are you safe? We always stand with USA, but you know that, yeah. Okay. So let's go. Yeah.
Sorry, Sue Toffee. I think first and foremost, before we read on this, is the situation here for Australia and New Zealand, it's pretty much the same as for Canada and some other countries in Europe that are mid-size powers, but
Mm-hmm.
not like the US or China or Russia. And
Mm-hmm.
so they, like Mark Carney said, they're gonna have to work together to build some sort of coalition, because Australia alone or New Zealand alone is not strong enough to be at the level of those super imperial massive
Yeah.
uh, places where that are competing regionally. Yeah. So let's do some cards.
Okay. Sure thing. That's fine. Oh, Liz, you got 32 inches in your of snow. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Interesting. As everybody knows, Trump has brought in this peace coalition or whatever it is. And every
Yeah.
single one of those people are dictators for the most part. And it's all about money. Give me $1 billion and all this other junk. What I see here is in what I get the lips, which is intimacy. I'm feeling as though there'll be the same type of coalition between perhaps the European nations and it's not exactly the same, and the UN, obviously,
Yeah.
but there will be an unspoken rule. You're part of this coalition, and I'm feeling like you have the power to manipulate whatever this other group is doing at that time. But it's a fluid progression. It may not be happening right now. Like you asked for the decade, and I thought that was too long, but it could be that is coming, and it might take a little bit of more time. Somebody's got to put it together, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a Macron or Carney or Keir Starmer or who, your person in Australia. Yeah.
Yes. I was getting first called the devil, don't freak out, but this is a sense of threat. And I think not knowing exactly where you stand with Trump is always putting any country on their toes. The Four of Cups is not a complete satisfaction with what is being offered by the Trump administration, and looking to find other situation here, Page of Cups, new alliances and revisiting relationships. An example of that is, I think it was the submarines, where originally Australia picked the US, and now they're looking at maybe a European situation. So you have to revisit your relationships. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. The scary thing for us over here is I think it's going to take many, many, many years, entertainment purposes only, for us to restore our relationships, because this is like cutting your nose off to spite your face. It's like you've kicked us to the curb. And actually, I heard today that the World Health Organization, which America
Yes.
withdrew from, they took the American flag off of it, but California governor, he joined it, and that made me feel good.
Yes.
That maybe we need to have more states' rights here, because that's what we started as.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that California stayed in the Paris Accord regarding climate change, even though the US withdrew. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And of course, the economy in California is the 5th in the world. Why wouldn't you do it? Smart, very smart, So thank you, Sue. I'm going to put up this one, and we're a little at the top of the hour. We'll go a little bit longer, but not too much longer. All right. So do you see a worldwide economic collapse during the year that money drastically loses its worth, like in the crisis back in the 30s? Well, I did hear today, they're selling off treasury bonds. A lot of countries are.
Well, that's what happened with Greenland, where Europe's starting to sell the treasury bonds. I mean, that's also just kind of taking a step aside here, is all this activity between Trump and bulking up for a trade war or a war with China. But
Mm-hmm.
in China, it's like fighting with your bank,
Yeah.
fighting with your banker. Why would you do that? And so
Right.
that doesn't make any sense. But it's true that it's just a fact, not even a psychic hit, that the value of the US dollar is coming down, and
Yeah.
silver, gold are going through the roof at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
so that I would tell you that I can see the value of gold and silver going up and up and up because there's less and less belief
Right.
and in the
Yep.
dollar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I got the dragon, which is circular. Dragons move in circular motion. And so it's chaos. It's all chaos. And we're seeing that. It's interesting if you understand when you were a kid that you had to learn how to spell things, you had to do spelling. Well, spelling is magic. In
Mhm.
other words, if you take your words, so let's think in terms of value. Let's think in terms of everything is going to be fine. I know I have a worry. I have a 401k with not very much in it, but enough for me. But I can't get into it till I retire. And I can't retire because I don't know what Social Security is going to do. So I'm kind of in this
Look,
chaotic dragon loop. Yeah. But something will conclude. I got the wax label. So they'll come to some kind of and the minute the stock market tanked, when he was over in Davos, he changed everything because he
yes.
talks on two sides of his mouth. He wants to play. It's like he wants to play and see what will happen. Let's blow this up and see what will happen.
Yes. Play with fire. And look, I mean, like, let's play with Venezuela. Well,
Yeah.
this is not just playing with a toy here, because what's gonna happen there? You're taking such a responsibility over a country, and this is not for a week, a month.
Right. Yeah.
You
Right.
got us into this very scary looking situation. There are
Mhm.
gangs, there's the situation's not stable, and
Mhm.
so I think this is very reckless.
It is reckless. It is. And that's the plan. I think in
Yes.
that 2025 project, it was like, let's put old people away. Let's get rid of all the gay people. Let's, whatever it is that they just
Wha-
want old white men. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's
Not
ridiculous.
even old, not even
That's
old.
true. Not even old. Not even old. Yep. White nationalists, basically Christian nationalists. Jim, I understand about your bonds and such. I'm 70 years old, and uh, you know, I planned to retire 4 years ago, but I haven't because of intuitively knew I couldn't. And so I totally agree. It's never good to make any choices based on fear. And I try not to do that. So thank you so much. All right. This is going to be our last question for today, but thank you for your questions, everybody. I mean,
Thank
we
you.
could stay on for 10 hours more. It'd be fine with me, but we got other things to do. Anyway, Pastel Skies, thank you. Is it going to come a time when Elon Musk will get arrested and charged with the crimes he's committed?
Oh, well, I'm gonna tell you, my immediate hit on that is smart enough to escape and leave the US before that time happens.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Which
You know what I'm
doesn't
thinking?
make him safe necessarily, but more safe than if he was staying. I've always felt like he would leave the country.
Okay. Just like Trump too, right? Did you think he would?
No,
No.
that
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. I
No.
have a different. Do you think Trump would leave, or what's your
He
take on
would
that?
if he was scared enough. And I think that's why he put that $500 million into a Qatar bank account to, for whatever reason. I think if anything happened that they found out his real true thing, if he wasn't already on the other side, let's say, that he would go to, because he loves all those people and they would protect him. But I don't think he's long for things. That's how I'm going to say it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know
Absolutely.
that unfortunately, like he's hurt his hand on the signing desk.
Yeah.
So that was really unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Just it's just another color to add to the mix is all it is, Nathe. That's let's see if we
Yeah.
can get some purple involved, you know.
But for president, because if we stick with what they're saying, he can't
Yes.
shake hands because that gives him bruises. He can't sign on a desk because that gives him bruises. So what can he do?
Must have to have somebody else come
Out
in
of
when he
this,
goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is all he could do. And rage over the weekends.
yes.
I mean, just rage about everything. Not going to the Super Bowl because it's too far away or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, no, it's because every time you go, you get booed by people.
Especially in
No.
California, you're not
Oh,
welcome
yeah.
there. So yes.
That's right. Yep. I have here that Elon's at a crossroads, and I thought I did see him. And I couldn't figure out who he did, but he gave like a huge donation to somebody else in politics. I don't know who it was, but I mean, he can do anything. He's got so much money. It's unbelievable. Here it's going to be slow moving if he does ever get arrested. But look at the last card. He is masked. He always hides behind his mask. And his secret, it says secrets, deceits, and lies. So yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do whatever he can. Whatever he can. Well, thank you, Nathe. I had so much fun. I did. And I love
come to my channel and we'll do the same reverse. Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I would. We've had a lot of people here today, and I want to thank every single one of them and the moderators for both of our channels as well. We couldn't do that without you, and we appreciate you both. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.